Hello, welcome back to Kim Reads as we continue with Wicked, chapter 2 of in the Vinkus. The Rafiki arrived, a thin, balding man with battle scars. There might be trouble from the Yunamata this year, he told them. The caravan comes after a season of dirty forays by cavalry from the Emerald City. Winky roundup, he complained. It wasn't clear if he was talking about a local argument over a drunken slight to a Vinkus maiden, or about a slave trade and resettlement camps. The camp had been broken, the lake left behind, the silent forest continued for half a day. Sunlight speared through the canopy from time to time, but it was a thin yoke light, and it seemed always to be off to the side, never spotlighting down on the path ahead. It was eerie, as if Cumbria herself were moving along beside them, hidden, unbidden, passing from tree to tree, sliding behind rocks, waiting in shadowy depths, watching and listening. The ailing old man wailed nasally and prayed to emerge from this mystery wood before he died. Or his spirit might have never found the way out. The boy wept like a girl. The cook wrung the neck of a chicken. Even the bees stopped humming. In the middle of the night, the cook disappeared. There was a consternation among all except Alfie, who didn't care. Was it a kidnapping, or a sleepwalking episode, or a suicide? Were the angry Yunamata near and watching? Was it Cumbria herself taking revenge on them for discussing her so glibly? There were many opinions, and the breakfast days were runny and inedible. Killjoy did not notice the cook's disappearance. He snuggled, grinning in his coma sleep, close to Liir. The bees went into some sort of mysterious hibernation inside the joint tree trunk brought along the side to make them happy. Killjoy, still smarting from bright poison, slept 22 hours a day. The travelers, afraid of being overheard, stopped talking altogether. Towards the evening, the pines at last began to thin, and the forest to shift to stag oak, which, with its broader branches, let in more of the sky. A pasty yellow sky, but at last a sky, and there was a cliff edge that had been climbed higher than anyone else had realized, beneath and beyond the stretch of rest of Cumbria's Pass, a journey of 4 or 5 days. Beyond that was the beginning of the 1,000-year grasslands. No one was sorry for the light and room the sky afforded. Even Elphie felt her heart lift unexpectedly. In the middle of the night, the Yunamata arrived. They brought gifts of dried fruit and sang tribal songs, and made those who had to dance get up and dance. The travelers were more terrified of their hospitality than of the attack they had expected. As Elphie thought about it, the Yunamata seemed soft, compliant folk, only as fearful and fearless as schoolgirls. At last, it was all they showed. There was cavorting, opinionated. They reminded her of the Quadlings with whom she had grown up. Perhaps ethnically, they were distant cousins. Long lashes, narrow elbows, baby-like supply wrists, oblong heads, and thin, concentrated lips. Even with their foreign tongue, they made feel at home. The Yunamata left in the morning, complaining rudely about the runniness of the breakfast eggs. The Rafiki said that Yunamata would make no further trouble. Even he seemed disappointed, as if employment hadn't been required. There was no word about the cook. The Yunamata didn't seem to know anything about him. As the caravan continues its descent, the sky opened again, brisk and autumnal, wide as remorse. From here to there, the eye could hardly take it in. The plain below, compared to the mountains, seemed level as the lake. The wind made strokes across it, as if spelling things in a language of curls and stripes. No wildlife was visible from the distance. Though there were tribal fires here and there, the Cumbria's Pass were left behind, or nearly. Then a Yunamata messenger came on a swift leathery feet, arriving from a pass behind them, to share the news that a body had been found at the base of a cliff. Perhaps it was a cook. It was thought to be a man, but the surface of the corpse was so swollen with lesions that the particulars were lost. It was the beast, someone said, full of rage. "Oh, was it?" came Elfie's calm voice. "They've been asleep for so long. Wouldn't there have been screams if they had attacked a man in the middle of the night? Did the bee sting his throat first to swell his vocal cords? Very talented bees, those." "It was the bees," was the mutter, and the implication was clear. "You too." "Oh, I forgot the size of the human imagination," Elfie said meanly. "How very large it is, after all." But she wasn't upset. Not really. For Killjoy was back to himself at last, and the beast woke up too. Perhaps the high altitudes at the top of the Cumbretia Pass had given such sleep. Elfie began to prefer their company for the rest of the travelers. As they woke up, coming down from the heights, she felt herself more and more awake too. The Rafiki pointed out on the horizon several mounting coils of smoke. At first the travelers guessed they were windstorms, but Otzi soothed them and alarmed them. It was the evening of the fires for a large encampment. Scrow. It was autumn hunting season, though nothing had been seen of any game bigger than a hare or grass fox. Its brush a wild stripe of bronze on a melting golden meadow, its feet in black stockings like a serving maid's. Killjoy was ecstatic with the possibility of the encounter. He could hardly bear to rest at night. Even in his dreams he twitched and hunt. The travelers feared the scarecrow more than they had the Yunamata. The Rafiki didn't say much to allay their fears. It's much more tentative than what they'd seen. Perhaps the job of negotiating among suspicious people required caution. Liir idolized him hopelessly for only a few days of travel. Elfie thought, such silly things, children. It's so embarrassing, because they keep changing themselves out of shame, out of a need to be loved or something. While animals are born who they are, accepting it, and that is that. They live with greater peace than people do. She felt herself a jolt of pleasure expectation over the thought of approaching the scrow. Among so much else, she had forgotten what pleasure experience was. As night fell, everyone seemed more alert, out of fear and excitement. The sky throbbed with turquoise, even at midnight. Starlight and comet tails burned the tips of endless grass below the hammered silver, like thousands of tapers in the chapel, just blown out, but still glowing. If one could drown in the grass, thought Elfie, it might be the best way to die. That's the end of that chapter. See you later.